changes.
We've typed this up. No. I have the original. I sent you a copy.
Yeah, I remember having this. Yeah, I don't like the wording. Maybe
well, it's the company. Remember, I got it. I talked to her about it.
Yeah, I know. But I still, every time I read this, it doesn't. I don't want one person to have the authority to do it.
No, it has to come to the board, see, right?
Vegetables, they had
and then the board.
But are we just talking about what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's all.
That's what I mean. It's not on this page at all.
Yeah. Okay, so they have and then the moment they authorize the change on behalf
Exactly.
So it's not something that I do by myself.
Exactly, but that's what I need to know. This is talking about the last thing we've done. It's not talking about
somebody demonstrated.
Well, that's right.
And then that gives me
That doesn't.
I have some of those plastic clear pages.
I want to make sure.
We've never done this before, so it's confusing. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting of the June 2nd Board of Trustees for Mullett Township to order, and we'll stand for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I want to open it for public comment.
May I read a brief statement? Carl Muscott, Mullett Township Board. I gave each of you a copy of this as well. Recently, numerous people have commented that while the Mullett Board continues on the agenda items that the board wants, the day-to-day operations of the township are being neglected. The Woodruff Road dock was installed this year later than I ever remember, and the cleanup days are apparently scheduled now in August. New resolution on the Township Hall rental agreement policy is justified. One of my concerns identified last year was the ongoing practice of allowing businesses to rent the hall for profit-making endeavors at the same daily rate as taxpayers for family and nonprofit functions. Most government units will not compete with the many service clubs and other venues, including motels and hotels, that rent meeting or sales facilities by the day. Traveling tool distributors, coin buyers, and other itinerant businesses provide needed revenue to these venues, who return the majority of their profits to the community at large. By allowing this practice to continue, Mullett Township will create a situation that allows a pop-up business, a deli, a sandwich shop, an ice cream shop, or some other food specialty outlet to rent the Township Hall every Saturday through the summer and possibly impact Jeff's business at the Top-of-the Market. A similar argument could be made for an unfair competitor advantage to ABC Rustics, with a competing business sucking off sales that should go to businesses that pay taxes in Mullett Township. Please rethink the proposed policy you are reviewing. The Special Assessment District for street lights is fraught with hazards. Special assessment districts are used to pay for improvements that benefit or increase property value. Public Act 246 of 1931 has a defined method to abandon a special assessment district for street lights. Section 19D reads, a district that has been lighting its streets or highways under this act may be relieved of this duty by action of the Township Board or boards on their own motion, or by a petition to the Township Board or boards as provided in Section 19B. Section 19B, I'll just read the highlighted part. Upon the filing of a petition signed by the record owners of not less than 10% of the number of parcels of land in the district to be lighted described in petitions, In other words, if 10% of the owners of 10% of the parcels in the district could bring you a petition next year, 5 years from now, and close the district by petition. The Michigan Planning and Enabling Act recognizes that influences more than 300 feet beyond our property lines do not impact values. There are no street lights that provide any direct benefit or value to property I own in the township. I believe the previously held hearing demonstrated that many are in agreement with the dark skies philosophy. I would suggest that the Mullett Township Board let the existing light district, like a sleeping dog, lay undisturbed until a real and pressing need calls for change. Thank you.
Any other comment?
I would just two. I'd also like to comment on the lighting district. I still feel uncomfortable that the same narrow area that encompasses the same group of people are going to continue to pay for the lighting. I either think it should be anybody that's in direct contact with that light that gets some kind of benefit, or if it's for safety purposes, I would like to see if that's the reason for having the lights. Then I think that for somehow, I don't know how it would work out, but I would think that everybody on that side of portion of Mullett Township should be responsible for paying a portion of them lighting. And I don't know what else to say about that. I just keep saying the same thing over again. But and the only other thing I want to mention is, can I get a copy of the lease from the DNR for Spirit Park?
As soon as I get it back.
Okay.
I gave it to Tim. Did you send it in?
I did.
Yeah, so we're just waiting
Okay.
for it to come back. As soon as it comes back, I'll definitely get you a copy. Because we'll have to meet, and we have to get permits and, a bunch of stuff. Yeah, Tom?
The annual TDA meeting is Saturday, June 20th at 10 a.m. in the Township Hall. There are door prizes, including gift certificates to the breakers, the market, NOCA, Butterfly House, and then there's a special door prize for TDA members of a cocktail cruise for 6 on Mullett Lake.
Great. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to close public hearing and ask for approval of the minutes of the May 12th meeting.
I'll make that motion unless someone has some corrections.
Okay.
I'll
Second.
support that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Treasury's report as of May 31st, 2015. Today's date is June 2nd, 2015. In the general accounts checking, $33,973. The savings, $228,691. The fire fund savings, $459,042. The library fund, $49,317. Light fund, $50,967. Liquor fund, $662. The top of the improvements, $1,509. Tax accounts, the savings $1, the checking $1. The investment accounts, securities $75,683. The fire CD for truck is $124,254. The scuba is $16,240. The dedicated account schoolhouse CD is $137,470. Parking lot savings is $76,242. The hall renovation savings $30,956.
Good. Can we just put those into the minutes? Okay, we're going to talk, Tim, the final approval of the East Mullett Township Hall. Let's start with that one. I don't think we need, everybody got that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any comments you want to make? You just did exactly what we said, I think.
Right. All I did was made the changes to both leases as you requested.
Yep.
And then I emailed them to each of the board members.
Yep. Does anybody have any concerns with the East Mullett Lake Township Hall lease? That's
I
this
just
hall.
have one comment, and maybe it's irrelevant, but up top where we have 3873 Miami Beach Drive, Sheboygan, Michigan, care of, I imagine that's your address.
Yeah. But we use our P.O. box.
I don't know why we have to send it to somewhere in case.
Yeah.
We ever
that's
have to
what
change that
That's
again.
what the court and yeah, we would have to change it if, yeah.
Why can't we put the
Yeah, we
address
can,
of
sure.
the Mullett Township Hall and still put P.O. Box? And
Okay.
We can add the P.O. box.
I just meant if there was any changes in
Yeah.
Rachel ever, we have to come back and
Right, we
change
should
that.
have the P.O. box.
We should have that, absolutely.
Okay,
And I think we should have our address of the hall on each of them possibly too, I don't know.
yeah. Well, we could put the address right on top. Why don't we put the address right on top, East Mull Lake Hall at
Whatever it
East
is.
Mull Lake Road, whatever it is. And then just change this to our P.O. box.
Okay.
Is it 1665 here? Where's John?
1665?
1665 northeast?
Mullett.
Okay. Yeah, we can add that. But that's gonna be Indian River.
Yep, that's fine.
That's the physical location.
And then we'll just put the post office box.
For the Sheboygan.
For the
oh,
address.
Well, that's gonna be top of the read.
Right,
It's really confusing.
okay. With that change, which is not really a content change, but is
Yeah.
everybody okay with could we have a motion to accept the East Mull Lake Township Hall lease agreement?
I'll make the motion to accept the lease agreement for East Mullett Township Hall.
Okay, second?
I'll make it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried.
No, you didn't ask.
Oh,
for-
sorry. Okay, that's right. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion
And
carried.
I feel I need to state, I'm against it because, as I said 2 months ago when we visited it right here in this hall, I do not feel that we should be renting to commercial entities at the same rate that the residents get it for their use.
Yep. Okay, can I have, this is for the lease for the Mullett Township Hall, which I assume we'll make the same changes, put the address on the top and for the post office box.
You want that right directly under the underlined
Yep.
part?
Yep.
Right there? Okay, very good. Thank you.
Can I have a motion for accepting the lease agreement for Mullett Township Hall?
I'll make the motion to accept the lease agreement for Mullett Township Hall.
Is there a second?
Support.
All in favor? Or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye,
Okay.
for the
Motion
same
carries.
reasons.
Yep. Okay, now we are looking at the resolution for the new streetscape light district. And where's that resolution?
Oh, here it is. This is this acceptance of, all of you have a copy of this.
Oh, this is the consumer
resolution.
energy. Is this the consumer energy one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is for the street light district, not the streetscape.
That's what it, oh yeah,
Yeah.
street light, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
street
that's
light
okay.
district. Okay,
I just wanted to clear it up.
okay,
This is an authorization for change in the standard lighting contract, and it's the company-owned Form 547, and then it gives our contract number, which is actually the account number we pay the bills under. Consumers Energy is authorized as of 5/1/2014 by the Township of Mullett to make changes as listed below in the lighting system covered by the existing standard lighting contract between the company and the Township of Mullett. And then it's a general type service unmetered lighting rate, GUL, standard high intensity discharge, and the numbers of the work orders that they use to get the work done, taking it from the mercury vapor to the high density sodium. So, except for the changes in the lighting system as herein authorized, all provisions of the aforementioned standard lighting contract dated shall remain in full force and effect. That's one of the things that we have to sign.
Now, this is just a renewal of the contract we already
Right.
had, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right, it's just like, if you look at this,
This is just making a
yeah, it's
contract
an
with
engineering
consumers.
change, basically. We're going from Mercury Vapor, which we gave them permission to do almost over a year and a half ago, I think. We talked about it in a meeting, we made a motion to go ahead with it, because it was gonna save us about $4,000 a year.
And they've
So-
already done it.
And they've already done it,
Yeah.
as anybody that goes up and down 27 can see.
Well, it's not just the savings, it's that mercury vapor lamps have been outlawed by the
Absolutely.
EPA.
Right.
So as they fail, they can't be replaced.
Correct.
But the work orders listed in this contract are just changing that. They're not for installing new lights at new sites
No.
or anything like
No,
that.
no, we would
Okay.
have, if we decided we wanted to, in fact, I have a request, standing request for a streetlight at Woodmansey. And that would be a whole nother resolution, just like this, to
Okay.
get that done. And then they would tell us how much it's gonna cost, and then we'd have to go back to them with a signed resolution before they would do the work.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what this is about. And the resolution reads, resolved that it is hereby deemed advisable to authorize Consumers Energy Company to make changes in the lighting service as provided in the standard lighting contract between the company and the Township of Mullett, dated in accordance with the authorization for change in standard lighting contract dated 5/1/2014, and this hereto submitted to and by consideration of the with the board. Resolved that the Mullett clerk be authorized to execute such authorization for change on behalf of the township, and then there is my certification, which I have to date and sign.
So what would the authorization for change on behalf of the township be? Like other changes like this, or lighting changes, or what? What are we
There wouldn't
authorizing?
be any future changes unless it came to the board. We
Okay.
always have to come to the board for any changes.
Yeah, then
I
I'm
mean,
just
this
wondering,
does
why would
not
we
give
want to
me-
have the
Can
clerk?
we put for this change?
Yeah, resolve
Well,
that.
For
I
this
don't-
change on behalf of, because all we're doing is authorizing this change.
Which has
That's
already
all.
happened.
Right. Right.
Yeah, if you just change it to this,
Authorize
yeah.
for this change on behalf.
Further resolved, further that this,
That the clerk be
where are you?
authorized to execute this change, or such authorization for this change. Just put it before this before the change, right?
Here, if you added this, for this change.
Oh, you want to put that word in there? Okay.
Because that's what we're,
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So, I would like to do this in a roll call vote.
you have to
just
for a
make it,
resolution, right?
Just, they don't demand it, but I would like to have it.
Okay. Is there any discussion about this resolution? Everybody understands it? Okay,
We'll go with the yeas first. John,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
yes.
Kathy,
yes.
and I am voting also.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right, thank you.
Next thing is the Freedom of Information Policy for Mullett Township. You're going to do this one,
I
Tim?
can.
Please.
I emailed a bunch of materials, but I actually have hard copies of this. And I've tried to put this together in a package that
Is this what you emailed, or?
I emailed yesterday.
Yep, I got them all, but,
Okay,
That's
these are,
okay.
okay,
Yeah,
these are just a little bit easier to
it won't hurt to have an extra copy.
okay.
read.
For some reason, I wouldn't open.
Oh, I
I
had
don't
it.
think I got
That's
this
all right,
yesterday.
you didn't, probably couldn't open it.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah,
You
it's
couldn't
too
open it?
big.
No, I
Yeah,
couldn't.
it's too
Seen
big.
it yesterday, but, okay.
It went through in PDF, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it wouldn't open for me.
Okay.
I own only one step above dial-up.
The tab, one step above.
In
that.
dial-up.
I beg to
This is
differ.
tablet,
Put
right?
your fax
Dennis, I
machine
beg to
on, I'll
differ.
fax it to you next time. Okay, the first document is actually the FOIA procedures and guidelines, and this closely follows the statute that I gave, where the amendment of the statute occurred. The FOIA procedures and guidelines have to be adopted by the board. What I did in here is I designated the clerk as the FOIA coordinator. That is in here. This is written for a township that does have a website, and on page 2 there's a blank for the website address. And I wanted to make sure that we had the correct. I didn't just want to pull it off the internet. I wanted to make sure it was accurate. So the policy goes through, how you request a FOIA request. Any written request. Request can be a letter, can be a fax, can be an email. Any written request must be responded to within 5 business days. You have a situation where you can request an extension if you need additional time to compile the records or find the records. And if you request that extension, there's a form that has to be sent to the requester, and you have then 10 business days to comply and either deny the request or to grant the request. So none of that has changed. What basically has changed in here is that you have to have a uniform policy for, or a uniform set of forms for billing, okay? And I sent that through yesterday too. And here's what I'm going to tell the board. I told you last month that I was not going to reinvent the wheel here. This was on the MTA website. There were several errors that I noticed in this, and I went through it and I corrected it. There were some spelling errors. There were some terminology errors. But with the exception of that, I have not done a great deal of editing on this, okay? What I did do, however, is I did put language in here that says that you may, but you do not have to respond to a verbal FOIA request, okay? In the new law, it says that a municipality may respond to a verbal request, but you're not required to respond to a verbal request. So the language that's in here says that you may, but are not required to respond to a verbal request. What you are required to do, however, is if somebody does make a verbal request and the materials can be found on your website, you must direct them to the website. So basically, if I call up and say I want to see your minutes, that's a verbal request. You don't have to respond to that, but if they are on the website, you have to inform me that they are available on the website. So even if it's a verbal request, you have to tell them that. The policies or the procedures and guidelines, as well as this summary of the procedures and guidelines, have to be put on the website and made available so people can review them and have access to them. If somebody does in fact want a hard copy of these, you can provide a hard copy, but you cannot charge for the hard copy of these documents. The whole idea, however, is that if you have a website and the documents are on the website and are available on the website, then you can simply direct the requester to the website. If a person, however, says, no, I still want a hard copy, I can't access your website, I don't have the internet, whatever the deal is, then basically they can be charged for the production of documents that are on the website, but not for these documents. They cannot be charged for these documents. So
So if they come in and want a form, and my big question was, the request for public records, does it have to be on this
No,
form?
it does not have to be.
That's,
Right.
yeah.
And anything that will properly identify the request as a FOIA request has to be responded to. So if somebody says, you know, I would like, or I'm requesting public information, they do not have to use the magic words freedom of information.
Okay.
So if it is if it could be reasonably inferred that somebody is requesting a public document, then that is a FOIA request, and it needs to be responded to. Now, here's what I would recommend that you do. If someone comes to you with a verbal request, not a written request, I would suggest that you make the form available to them, give it to them and say, please put your verbal request in writing and give it to me or give it to whomever, and we will respond to it. Okay? Or fill out the form yourself and say, Joe Dokes called me up and asked for whatever, and give that form to the FOIA coordinator and let the FOIA coordinator deal with it. So,
I've gotten requests that will not specifically name a document.
yes.
It'll be, and any other thing that's pertinent,
Mhm.
maybe, or something like that.
Right.
That's
That
not
should-
the exact.
That should be denied.
Okay.
Okay, that should
The
be,
any other documents are not identified?
they're not identified, right.
Okay.
They have to reasonably inform you, now if somebody says, I want your June 2nd minutes and any other minutes from June, well, that's specifically identified.